Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the world of biology. In today's class, we will start the chapter number 15, biodiversity and conservation. In the very first part, we will discuss about the different aspects of biodiversity. First of all, what do you mean by biodiversity? Basically, it is made of two words, bios and diverse. Bios means livings and diverse means different. You can see when you will look at your nearby places, then there are different types of living organisms can be seen. You can see the living organisms in basically three categories: plants, animals, and microbes. There are a lot of number of plants and its varieties can be seen. There are different types of animals can be seen and microbes, although these are invisible, but the numbers are in the millions. So dear students, we will discuss about the biodiversity. Bio means living organisms, diversity means the variety and variability in the species of the organisms. First of all, the term biodiversity was proposed by Walter G. Rosen. Walter G. Rosen was the first person who proposed this word, and it was popularized by Edward Wilson. Edward Wilson was the sociologist who spread, or you can say popularized the word. There are different types of species can be seen in the world. Almost 20,000 ants found in the nature. This is the very big amount, big number. You can see 3 lakh species of insects can be seen on the earth and many more is yet to be discovered. Similarly, 28,000 species of fishes are popular in the world. So, we will discuss all these things by using the PPTs. So, it is very interesting and you need to focus on these points so you can understand all the aspects of biodiversity. And what is the conservation? Conservation means to protect the diverse species of organisms, but it will be discussed in the another part of the video. As earlier in the introduction of biodiversity, I have explained about the biodiversity in brief. Now have a look in the broad aspect. Biodiversity term coined by Walter Z. Rosen in 1985 and biodiversity term popularized by Edward Wilson. He was a sociologist. Now the question is, what is the basic definition of biodiversity? Biodiversity is the variety and variability of the life on earth. You can see these 2 points are important: variety of the organisms and variability of the organisms. So it is typically a measure of variation at the genetic level, at the species level and ecosystem level. So we can see there are the diverse forms of genetic variants, species and ecosystem levels, and some figures are given here. It is hard to believe that more than 20,000 species of ants found on earth, 3 lakh species of beetles, 28,000 species of fishes and 20,000 species of orchids found in nature. So this is very hard to believe. We cannot believe that such number of insects, ants, fishes, beetles can be seen. Some examples are given here. All these are the mouth parts of the, or you can say head of the ants. These are the only 8 species. Now it is not to believe that there are 20,000 varieties. Now a question taken from your book: why are these so many species? What is the reason behind this? One of the main explanation has been geological as older groups of organisms are more diverse because they have simply had more times to accumulate greater number of species. So you can see this is the very important aspect, geological age. The species which is older, then their diversity will be comparatively more. This figure is not given in your book, but it will give all the idea about the diversity percentage of described species. So we will start with beetles. 22% beetles found in the nature. This is very large amount, and it shows that beetles are geologically older in age. Fishes 9%, wasps 8%, butterflies and moths 7%, other insects 13%. So you can see from beetles to other insect, this is the whole part on the earth, and it makes overall more than 3 lakh species. Plants and algae just 18%, fungi only 4%, other invertebrates 12%, and the percentage of vertebrates, this is very low, or you can say vertebrates are least in number in the surface of earth. So you can see this figure gives a lot of idea about the species diversity on earth. Now some more questions taken from your book. The question is, did such great diversity exist throughout earth's history? According to evolutionary biologists, this great diversity did not exist early on earth. It has taken millions of years to accumulate. So you can see it taken millions of years to accumulate such diversity on earth. So this diversity was not evolved in just a second or a minute or hour or some days or years. It has taken lot of years, or you can say millions of years. The next question is, how did the diversification come about? Diversification comes as a result of ever changing environmental conditions. So our changing environmental conditions are responsible for this thing, which are either introduced by man or nature itself. Some environmental conditions are man-made conditions, because man can change the environment, man is the main factor. Some more questions, how and why is the diversity important to the biosphere? So biodiversity refers to biological diversity and includes all organisms, species, populations present in an ecosystem. Biodiversity is important for human life as it maintains ecological balance. So what is the significance of biodiversity? It helps in the maintenance of ecological balance, it helps in the preservance of the climate, environment, prevents erosion of the soil, and performs tasks like pollination. So there is a lot of functions of the diversity. Every species has its a special role in the ecosystem. This is to remember. Question next one is, would it function any differently was much less. The diversity important to biosphere because it balances the nature, and this diversity have many useful species like tiger, bison, cows, buffaloes, and many more species. How do you humans benefit from the diversity of life? So the species like tiger, bison give us many useful things like milk or another things, in which this way human benefit from diversity. Basically we receive lot of things from the plants and animals. Now next, immense diversity or heterogeneity exists not only at the species level but at all levels of biological organisms, like macromolecules within cells to biomes. The diversity starts from the macromolecules. Macromolecules means proteins, lipids, DNA, RNA. Diversity can be seen up to this level, and the largest diversity is found in the form of biomes. So biodiversity is the term. Biodiversity refers to the totality of genes have the important fact. Totality of the genes, this is the diversity. It will create the diversity, species and ecosystem of a region. So Edward Wilson described the types of biodiversity. So types of biodiversity described by Edward Wilson, and basically there are three important types of biodiversities we will discuss here, although it depends on the basis of the classification. First thing that we will discuss here is genetic diversity. Second is species diversity. The third is ecological diversity. So a graphical presentation, or you can say a diagrammatic presentation, is given here. Genetic diversity, diversity of genes within a species. This is the figure of DNA. Species diversity, diversity among species in an ecosystem. You can see this one. Ecosystem diversity, diversity of habitat in a given unit area. Now we will start the first diversity, genetic diversity. Generally you have heard about the maize plant and its color, which is very well known to the public, is white maize and yellow maize. But you can see the figure, there are different types of maize grains. This is red, yellow, white, purple, blue, and many more. So the assorted colors of kernels in different varieties of corn are a result of genetic diversity. So what a beautiful picture is this. I think you have not seen this picture ever before. It is the total number of genetic characteristics in genetic makeup of a species. It is distinguished from genetic variability, which describes the tendency of genetic characteristics to vary. A single species might show high diversity at the genetic level over its distributional range. So I think you have understand this. Genetic diversity means diversity at the level of DNA, at the level of genes, at the level of genetic makeup, and it will cause the different morphological characters. Some examples given: the medicinal plant Sarpagandha. This is also known as Rauwolfia vomitoria and Rauwolfia serpentina. This is a medicinal plant growing in the ranges of Himalayan, produces active chemical. It contains Sarpagandha, or you can say Rauwolfia vomitoria contains reserpine biochemical, shows genetic variation in potency and concentration. So India has more than 50,000 different strains of rice. Now this is the another example. You will not believe that 50,000 of strains of rice found only in India, and 1,000 varieties of mango are found in India. Some genetic diversity in rice is shown here. You can see different types of rice. As far as I concern, you have eaten the white rice and brown rice. This is the yellow rice, black rice, this is dark colored rice. So this is the variety, genetic diversity in rice. Now the second type of diversity is species diversity. What do you think about this? Species diversity is defined as the number of different species present in an ecosystem and relative abundance of each of those species. So there are the hundreds or thousands of species can be seen. Some examples given here. The Western Ghats of India, this is the South India. Have a look at this figure. This coastal area towards the Arabian Ocean, this is Western Ghats, and in just opposite to this you can see in the Bay of Bengal side, this is the Eastern Ghats. We will see the diversity in the species of frogs. So the Western Ghats of India shows higher amphibian diversity. Basically in amphibian diversity our emphasis on the type of frogs or species of frogs more than the Eastern Ghats. So you can see Western Ghats is rich in amphibian diversity. Approximately 72 species of amphibians are known from India, and Some species are given here. These are the night frog varieties. This figure is given just to improve your interest in biology. Third type of diversity is ecological diversity. Ecosystem diversity deals with the variations in ecosystems within a geographical location. So you can say ecosystem diversity, it deals with the variation in ecosystem within a geographical area. This type of diversity is based on geographical area and geographical locality and its overall impact on human existence and the environment. In India, following type of habitats found which are responsible for ecological diversity. It is more diverse than Scandinavian country like Norway. So, if we will discuss about the Indian diverse ecological diversity, this is more than the Norway. Habitats, type of habitats you have heard in the lower classes, deserts, this is basically drought area, rainforest, this is highly dense forest and lot of precipitation is here. Mangroves, coral reefs, wetlands, estuaries and alpine meadows. Ecological diversity, some figures are given here. This is the dense forest, this is rainforest. Especially such type of forest can be seen in the eastern India. Mangrove plants, it is found in Sundarban, West Bengal. This is estuary. These are the coral reefs. So you can see the figures and you can have an idea about it. The next is it has taken millions of years of evolution but could be lost all wealth in less than 2 centuries if the present rates of species losses continue. So you can see the evolution of the biodiversity has taken millions of years, but if you are ready to damage the diversity, then only 1 or 2 centuries are enough to destroy. So biodiversity and its conservation is important. So dear students, it's our moral duty to preserve the species of all the diverse organisms. Don't kill any animal, don't kill any insect. It may be harmful or useful, but we need to protect ourselves rather than we kill all these organisms. What a beautiful figure is given here. This is the diversity of animals, plants and microbes here. Next, how many species are there on earth and how many in India? Now we will discuss about the number of species found in the world, found on the earth, or what about the Indian conditions. So most precise estimate yet suggest more than 80% of species still undiscovered. So still this is there is a large amount of species which are undiscovered. So there are 8.7 million eukaryotic species on our planet, give or take 1 million. So you can see biodiversity is a very broad area. You have a better future in the biodiversity. According to IUCN report 2004, 1.5 million of plants and animals are in our biosphere, but no idea that how many species yet to be discovered and described. A perfect figure is given here. This is the pie diagram. Now again we will start with the beetles. 22%, flies 9%, wasp 8%, butterflies and moths 7%, other insects 13%, other invertebrates 12%, plants and algae 4%, fungi and other species. Vertebrates only, as I have already described, 1%. So you can see generally our emphasis remains on the vertebrates, but its number in the world is only 1%. 99% biodiversity is of others. For many taxonomic groups, like species are more complete in temperate than the tropical countries, because in the temperate region comparatively less biodiversity is seen, and as far as scientists are concerned, they have completed the species discoveries. But in tropical area, large number of species are yet to be discovered in tropics, because there are a dense forest, there are a great biodiversity in plants, animals and microbes. Biologists estimate that diversity is ranges from 20 to 50 millions. There is an estimate, it may be the number 20 to 50 millions. This is very large number. Scientifically scientifically sound estimate made by Robert May. Robert May was a scientist. He places global species diversity at 7 millions. So what are the important aspects? More than 70% of all the species recorded are animals. So animals are comparatively more in number in comparison of plants. All plants constitute about 22% only. Among animals, insects constitute 70%, means out of 10 animal on the planet, 7 are insect, most species rich. So you can see insects are the most abundant on earth. So that's why we can see in the rainy season different types of insects, beetles are here. Again, a question taken from your book. How do we explain the enormous diversification of insects? Basically, this is species richness. The species richness or diversification of insects has been enhanced by their relative age compared to other group of animals like mammals. This means the insects have evolved very earlier than higher organisms on the earth. So development or evolution of insect is comparatively earlier in comparison of mammals or our human beings. They are evolutionary very old group of animals on the earth. So if anyone asks that which is the old group of animals on earth, then your answer must be insects. The number of fungi species in the world is more than the combined total of species of fishes, amphibians, reptiles and mammals, as shown in given figure 15.1. So again, this is taken from your NCERT book, figure number 15.1, representing global biodiversity, proportionate number of species of major taxa of plants, invertebrates and vertebrates. So invertebrates, you can see here insects. This is the pie diagram. You can see this yellow part of the figure shows the insects. This green portion shows the mollusk. This purple portion shows the crustaceans. Other animals shows this one. So this pie diagram belongs to invertebrates. So the species richness in invertebrates is insect. Vertebrates, you can see almost 50% biodiversity in vertebrates is related to fishes. And then after you can see birds and reptiles. I think these are almost equal in number, and then amphibians and mammals. So invertebrates, fishes shows the most biodiversity. Now come to the plants. You can see these two types are dominating on the world right now, fungi and angiosperm. Although fungi is very rare to see because it requires high humid conditions and hot conditions. Now mosses, ferns and algae and lichens. So this figure is giving lot of information about the biodiversity. Don't ignore this figure. Special note, it's important to note that it does not give any figures for prokaryotes. It is very surprise for us. We have discussed about the biodiversity, but still we have not at all discussed about the prokaryotes because biologists are not sure about the number of prokaryotic species because conventional taxonomic methods are not suitable for microbial species identification, and some microbial species are not culturable in laboratory conditions. An important question can be asked on this point. Why do we not discuss about the prokaryotes in biodiversity? Then your answer will be this. Conventional taxonomic methods and microbial identification methods are not suitable. If we accept biochemical and molecular criteria, then microbial diversity alone might run into millions. So you can see it is yet to be discovered, although scientists have discovered many varieties of prokaryotes, but I think it is very large in number. Average biodiversity of prokaryotes, you can see this figure, although this is beyond your syllabus, it is just given to raise your interest. Corynebacterium, Anirococcus, Corynebacterium species 3. So I think ignore this. Although India has only 2.4% of world's land area, if we talk about the land area of the world, then India has only 2.4% of the world's land. But as far as global species diversity or biodiversity is concerned, it is impressive. 8.1% biodiversity is found in India. So India is very rich in biodiversity, but we need to preserve this and conserve this. India is considered one of the 12 mega diversity countries of the world. Nearly 45,000 species of plants and twice as many of animals have been recorded from India. So you will not believe 45,000 species of plants had been discovered and 90,000, more than 90,000 animals had been discovered in India. Now the next one more question, how many living species are actually there waiting to be discovered and named? Although this is the hypothetical question and very difficult to give the answer. So more than 1.5 million species have been recorded in the world so far, but there might still be nearly 6 million species on earth waiting to be discovered and named. So again it is showing the better future in biodiversity for biology students. But a perfect manpower is needed. Of the named species, more than 70% are animals, of which 70% are insects. 70% insects yet to be discovered and 70% animals yet to be discovered. This is the great number. Again, if we accept the May's global estimates, Robert May gave some mathematical data or information. May's global estimates only 22% of the total species have been recorded so far. So have a look on the Robert May's data. Only 22% have been recorded so far. It means many more yet to be discovered, almost 78%. If May's proposal for discovery of new species is accepted, then there are probably more than 1 lakh plant species and more than 3 lakh animal species yet to discovered and described. Again, a question, would we ever be able to complete the inventory of biological wealth of our country? I think no. So answer is, consider the immense trained manpower. India has not trained manpower, or you can say taxonomist, because it is very typical to understand the taxonomy and students are not interested. And the time required to complete the job, a large number of species faces the threat of becoming extinct even before we discovered them. Lot of species already extincted. Nature's library. So, what an important statement given here. Nature's library is burning even before we catalog the titles of all the books stocked there. This is showing that suppose all the biodiversity is the type of books on the earth, before it is identified or named or described, prior to this it is becoming extinct. So an important question can be asked on this point. Patterns of biodiversity. Which type of patterns affects the biodiversity? Again, a figure is given here. Flora means type of plants. Fauna means type of animals. So flora and fauna diversity depends on, first, it depends on the climate, it depends on the altitudes, it depends on the type of soil and presence of other species. Other species will also determine the type of present species. Biodiversity is in the form of mosaic varying greatly across the global as well as within regions. Such a study is called biogeography. The study of biodiversity with respect to geographical area and globe, then it is a different branch, biogeography. Now have a look, patterns of biodiversity. We will discuss some patterns here. The first is latitudinal gradients. First of all, have a look on this figure. This is the earth, or you can see globe is given here, and the central line is showing the equator. As you have studied in the geography, in the equator area comparatively temperature is high and precipitation range is very high. So this is most biodiverse area. And as you will move from equator to poles, have a look here. This is the equator, 0°, and you will move towards the pole, either in the north pole or nor in the south pole. There will be a low diversity because the environmental conditions and climatic conditions are not favorable. So have a look. The latitudinal gradient of decreasing richness from tropical to extratropical areas is ecology's longest recognized pattern. The diversity of plants and animals is uneven. Sorry for the break. Now come to the point. So you can see equator, there is a almost similar climatic conditions remains throughout the year. Tropics, latitudes ranges from 23.5° north to 23.5° south. Harbors more species than temperate and polar areas. Again, have a look. This is the 23.5 and in the south part 23.5. This is comparatively more diverse biodiversity area. We have an example here. Colombia, located near equator, nearly has 1400 species of birds, while New York at 40° north it has 105 species, and Greenland 71° north has only 56 bird species. You can see as you are moving from equator to pole, number of bird species are decreasing. 1400 species in New York, 105 species. Sorry, 1400 species found in Colombia, 105 species in New York, and 56 bird species in Greenland. So India with much land area is tropical. Comparatively, our area is tropical. Latitudes has more than 1200 bird species. A geographic patterns in species diversity. Country Greenland, New York, Guatemala, Colombia. Bird species, number of bird species in Colombia almost 1400. Basically, this is 1395. Guatemala 469. This is New York as given above 105 and Greenland in 56. A forest in a tropical region like equator has up to 10 times of many species of vascular plants as a forest of equal area in a temperate region like the Midwest of USA. We are comparing tropical region and temperate region here. Then you can see the difference of 10 times of species of vascular plants. Lastly, tropical Amazonian rainforest in South America. In the South America, in Brazil, there is a Amazonian rainforest. This is also known as lungs of earth. America has the greatest biodiversity on the earth. Again, important question, which is the most biodiverse area on the earth? Then your answer must be Amazonian rainforest. 40,000 species of plants, 3,000 species of fishes, 1,300 species of birds, 427 species of amphibians, 427 species of mammals, 378 species of reptiles, and it is hard to believe more than 1,25,000 invertebrates found in the Amazonian area. This is the very important area for the taxonomists and biodiversity scientists. Scientists estimate that in these rainforests there might be at least 2 million species. The scientists suppose that there are 2 million species found. It means there are a lot of yet to be discovered and named.